Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be talking about how to protect yourself if cops suddenly walked up to you and said, "You match a description." What would you do if a cop suddenly walked up to you and said, "You match a description"? Most people freeze. Most people start talking, and in those next 10 seconds, they accidentally give away their rights. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. That phrase, "you match a description," is not evidence, it's a tactic. Say the wrong thing, act the wrong way, or try to explain yourself too quickly, and you could give an officer exactly what they need to detain you, search you, or even arrest you. But today, you're going to learn exactly what to do, what not to do, and how people have turned situations like this into powerful legal wins. Let's break it down. Before we go anywhere further, comment where in the world you are watching from and make sure to subscribe because tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. A man is walking home. It's late afternoon, nothing unusual. Headphones in, minding his business. Then suddenly, "Hey, you, stop right there." He turns around. "Officer, you match a description." The man pulls out his headphones. "A description of what?" "Officer, we just need to ask you a few questions." Right here, this is where almost everyone makes the first mistake. They think they have to explain themselves. They think if they just cooperate and talk enough, the situation will go away. But legally, that phrase alone does not automatically give police the right to detain you. Under the Fourth Amendment, you are protected against unreasonable searches and seizures. That means an officer needs something called reasonable suspicion, specific articulable facts that connect you to a crime, not a vague statement, not a guess, not "you look similar." There was a Supreme Court case called Terry versus Ohio that allows officers to briefly stop someone, but only if they can clearly explain why they suspect that person. And most people don't realize this, but when you start talking, you might actually help them create that suspicion. "Officer, where are you coming from?" The man, just down the street." "Officer, doing what?" "Nothing, just walking." "Officer, why are you nervous?" Now the situation is shifting. Before, there was no clear reason to detain him. Now, the officer is building a narrative. This is exactly why you do not volunteer information. Don't explain where you came from. Don't try to prove your innocence. Don't fill the silence, because every word you say can be used to justify keeping you there longer. Instead, you stay calm, you stay respectful, and you ask one simple question. Am I being detained or am I free to leave? That question changes everything. If the officer says you're free to leave, you calmly walk away. No argument, no attitude. If they say you're being detained, now they are legally required to justify it. And if they can't, that could become a violation of your rights. And here's something most people don't know. If you are detained without proper reasonable suspicion, you may have grounds to file a civil rights lawsuit under Section 1983. That means the officer and the department could be held accountable. Now let's talk about the trap that gets almost everyone. One sentence, that's all it takes. "Officer, where are you coming from?" Person, just down the street. "Officer, why are you avoiding eye contact?" Person, "I'm not, I just..." "Officer, you seem nervous. Got anything illegal on you?" And just like that, the pressure builds. This is where people talk themselves into trouble, because under the Fifth Amendment, you have the absolute right to remain silent. You are not required to answer investigative questions, not where you're coming from, not where you're going, not what you're doing. But people panic. They try to sound normal. They try to explain, and in doing that, they give officers material to work with. Even worse, some people lie. That's a huge mistake, because now instead of just being questioned, you could be accused of giving false statements. So what should you do instead? You keep it simple, calm, clear. I'm invoking my right to remain silent. I don't answer questions. That's it. No long speech, no attitude, no arguing. Just silence. And here's the key. Silence is not guilt. Silence is protection. And if an officer continues to pressure you after you've clearly invoked your rights, that matters, because now any continued detention or coercion could strengthen a future legal claim. Now we reach the most critical moment of all, how the encounter ends. "Officer, if you've got nothing to hide, you won't mind a quick search." That sentence right there has trapped thousands of people because it sounds reasonable, it sounds harmless, but it's not. Under the Fourth Amendment, officers generally need a warrant, probable cause, or your consent to search you. And most of the time, they're asking because they don't have enough. So when you say, "Yeah, go ahead," you just gave up your protection. Never say "go ahead," never nod, never give unclear answers, and whatever you do, never physically resist. Instead, you stay calm and clearly say, "I do not consent to any searches." That sentence protects you. Even if they search anyway, you've now made it clear that it was not voluntary, and that can become very important later. Because if a search is done without consent and without legal justification, it could be ruled illegal. Evidence could be thrown out, and you may have a strong civil case. So remember this moment. This is where rights are either protected or lost. Stay calm. Keep your hands visible. Do not escalate, because your role is not to win the argument on the street. Your goal is to protect your rights and, if necessary, win later, in court. Because on the street, the officer has control, but in court, the Constitution speaks. So let's bring this all together. When you hear the words, "you match a description," understand what's really happening. It's not proof. It's not a charge. It's a test. A test to see if you'll panic. A test to see if you'll talk. A test to see if you'll give up your rights. But now, you know better. Ask one question. Am I being detained or am I free to leave? Use your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Refuse searches clearly, "I do not consent." Because people don't lose their rights because they're guilty, they lose them because they don't know them. And the moment you understand the law, the power shifts. So the next time someone steps up and says, "you match a description," you won't panic. You won't talk yourself into trouble. You'll stay calm, you'll stay in control, and you'll be ready.